But I wonder, how long can Disney go with Marvel and Star Wars in very obvious decline before that begins to impact those other parts of the business? Like, if you don't have drivers within within your company, these IPs part of the flywheel, if you don't have drivers to really support, like Abu Dhabi, what IP do they put in there right now? Like, you can't put a Star Wars land in because nobody cares about Star Wars. Yeah. So that's the thing,
it's
right?
The all Aladdin theme park.
Although I will say we may finally get a Tatooine because it'll be so cheap to build over there in Abu Dhabi.
Well,
clear the land, and there you go, kids. Get out there and play in it.
Renegade Online.
My mind is blown by this Abu Dhabi thing. It's not really that blown, but looks like we've got another Tokyo Disneyland situation where the corporation Miral, which already has a massive theme park complex out there, including Ferrari World, Warner Brothers theme park. They're about to get Harry Potter. It's going to be a licensing agreement and royalty play similar to what the OCL has at Tokyo Disneyland. So this might actually be a good theme park.
It might. And you know what's funny about it is that this is the answer that Disney was able to come up with on a relatively rapid basis. And as I mentioned before, because that area of the world has been begging, Saudi Arabia and all this kind of stuff, been begging to put a Disney something over there. And what Wall Street, I think, was looking for clearly was an answer to Epic. Is an answer to Epic, gentlemen?
It is if you're in a Wall Street perspective and you never actually go to a theme park, then yes, it is.
If you know nothing, if you know absolutely nothing, then this is the gate, right?
So they can say, "Hey, by the way, this theme park over here that we have nothing to do with, except for that we let them use our IP and probably do a great job with it, and they send us money. Yes, we're on the same level as them. Only people who are familiar with how Disney works, the higher information diet people, will understand the difference here.
So yeah, this is a quarter in which Jonas J. Campbell really called this. Jonas, you said yesterday on the Pro Show that sports might be, one of the things they would trot out. And trot out sports they have. This is the don't believe your lying eyes quarter, the earnings report.
Right.
And then once you don't believe your lying eyes, looky over here, looky over here. We're building something in the Middle East. And I don't know if you guys have seen the concept art. Maybe Jonas could get that pulled up.
I've got it.
Now, they haven't put anything really in high resolution where you can tell what's going on, but it definitely doesn't look like a Disney park. So I don't know if this is going to be a giant crystal in the middle. It's not the typical castle. So it could be great. It could be good. It seems like it's extremely, extremely early on. Bob Iger has a bag of magic tricks. So at the same time that the, movies are flopping, and at the same time that shows are not managing to make it on Nielsen, everything's great, everything's grand, the finances are just doing well, and we're going to build something over here in the sand, and it seems to be doing the trick. We wondered what they were going to come up with for this quarter, and Wall Street seems to love this. This is a heck of a play by Disney to say, you know what?
Oh yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to announce a new Disney World over in the Middle East.
And look, as expected, they will lap it up. But I'm gonna reserve myself a little bit until we actually get to the call and specifically the Q&A, because it would not be uncommon for us to see a bit of a reversal once some more clarity comes out.
Right.
And we've seen this. Yeah, we've seen this with Disney a number of times, especially around the first or second quarter, the second quarter reporting especially, right? Because this is when they're usually, in the midst of fighting off a Nelson Peltz around, the beginning of the year. And then we'll see this sharp uptick in Disney stock price. And then the rest of the year, as the paint comes off, right, we start seeing that come back down to earth. Can you scroll back up a second on that? I want to see that first frame again. In this image, scroll back up.
There's nothing about this other than it's on a Disney website.
That's what I thought. Okay, so there's Dubai. Like there's Dubai in the background. That's what I thought I saw. Okay, and it's going to be fun because it's costly to get all that water out there. There's not
funniest day ever.
I will say this is on Yas Island, which is obviously an island which implies water. They've got a lot of money out there. Lucky for me, I actually do have some contacts that are involved in this theme park. There's an aspect of this where they're just trying to impress you. It's a flex to put something like this out there in the middle of the desert. But I'm interested to see what happens here and the amount of money that they have, and the fact that they can say, when Imagineering comes in and says, this is what we want to do, they won't have the Disney parks people, like the Walt Disney World people and the Disneyland people, who actually have to sign the check saying, you know what can we get for, it's a $300 million ride. What can we get for 200, and what can we get for 150?
Is the volume okay for everybody?
In the 102-year
We can hear
history of the Walt Disney Company, there have been many defining moments and countless achievements. One such moment was the opening of Disneyland in 1955.
Oh, this could be Abu Dhabi.
Now, 70 years later, having entertained 4 billion guests across 6 Disney theme park destinations around the world, we are celebrating another great moment in our storied history. I am joining you from the United Arab Emirates, where we just announced an agreement
He's
to bring
in the
Disney
UAE.
theme park to Abu Dhabi. Disneyland Abu Dhabi will be authentically Disney and distinctly Emirati. It will serve as an oasis.
Man, they even
extraordinary
refreshed
Disney
the line.
entertainment for millions and millions of people in this crossroads of the world, connecting travelers from the Middle East and Africa, India, Asia, Europe, and beyond. This 7th Disney theme park resort will rise from the shores of this land in spectacular fashion, blending
Shores.
wonderful Disney stories and characters with the cultures and tastes
It
of
is
this
on the Red
country
Sea.
and this region. It will combine contemporary architecture and cutting-edge technology.
They're going to have
with
Moses
the
part
timeless
it
magic
for
of
them.
Disney to offer guests deeply
I
immersive
don't think he's welcome there
experiences
anymore.
in unique and modern ways. As part of our new strategic partnership with the Miral Group of Abu Dhabi, Disney will oversee design, license our IP, and provide operational expertise, while Miral will provide the capital, construction resources, and operational oversight. Our Imagineering team is already hard at work designing this large and very special destination that will become a source of joy and inspiration for generations to come.
This is ultimately a
This
license.
is my third visit
Yes.
to Abu Dhabi
Yes.
in the last 9 months, and each time I gain more appreciation and respect for the UAE government, the government of Abu Dhabi, for our partners at Miral, and for the people and the culture of Abu Dhabi. As we prepare to embark on this exciting new addition to our experiences portfolio, we already have more expansion projects underway domestically and around the world than at any time in our history. That includes investing more than $30 billion in our theme parks in Florida and California to enhance our offerings, create jobs, and support the U.S. economy.
Because of
Thanks,
rescue.
Ben. Operator, next question, please.
Yes, sir. Our next question comes from Stephen Cahill with Wells Fargo. Please go ahead.
Yeah, first, just congratulations on Abu Dhabi. I was wondering if you could speak a little more on how you settled specifically on this location and this partner. I mean, Yas Island
Because
is
the
really
guy with the
exciting
check
already
said we're
with
going to build
track
it
and
here.
Ferrari World, and the Emirate has a lot in infrastructure, but there are a lot of choices in the region. So maybe you could just think about, what audience you're going after and how this particular location is best suited for those purposes.
There's not a
and then
lot of
just
choices in the
second
region.
question
I'm
on
sorry.
parks.
And then on the Abu Dhabi question, which is a good question, Stephen, because we did study the region very carefully, and we know that we had many opportunities. Obviously, building a theme park in a location is a huge endorsement of that location. It speaks volumes in terms of the ability of that location to sustain the Disney theme park. I should start really with an overview of the Middle East. It was very obvious to us that there were many
Please be
people,
specific about the
basically
Middle East,
hundreds
Bob.
of millions in the world that were income qualified, where a trip to one of our 6 locations was pretty lengthy in nature and expensive. And so we felt the best way, obviously, to reach those people is to basically bring our product to them. Interestingly enough, as an aside, when we decided to build a
Very detailed.
and put it in Singapore, which will not launch until the end of the year, we put it on sale just a few months ago, and the first quarter sold out in a matter of days, as a for instance. So there's clearly a desire to engage of consumers to engage with Disney in a wide region that is actually distanced enough from our other locations so that we don't really view this as in any way.
Oh my goodness, this
cannibalistic
fell in his lap and he's trying to pretend
places
like
we
it was
already
his
operate.
decision.
Then when you look at Abu Dhabi and the UAE, I mentioned these statistics earlier today. We talk about it being a crossroads of the world. 500 million income qualified people.
Oh, he's there
within
with
4
them.
hours.
Yeah. He
120
started off
million
the call
people will
saying he
come
was
to
still
Dubai
in
and
Abu Dhabi. He was in Dubai.
this year
He's
alone.
doing this from Dubai.
Abu Dhabi
So
estimates
he's
that
sitting there.
39
He's
million
doing the pitch on the call in
will
front of the
visit
people who will be
Abu Dhabi
very
in
angry if he's not
2030.
positive about
That says
everything
a lot.
about it.
Then as we started to really dig deeper into Abu Dhabi specifically and engage with our partners, obviously capital was not an issue. But in addition to that, they've demonstrated a number of things that were really important to us. One, a real appreciation of quality and innovation, an appreciation of the arts and creativity, and a huge commitment to new technology. And we were impressed with all of that. We also looked at what they've already built between the Louvre that's already built, the Guggenheim, which is going up, and incredible other experiences, the architecture here as well.
Incredible other experiences. This is going to go right next to the Warner Brothers
land. This was a
land.
perfect place for us. And then in Morale, our partners, we immediately bonded with them in many respects, spoke the same language, and basically we both have a real appreciation of our history and our legacy, but moving forward and being forward thinking and innovating is also part of our basically our DNA. And so it was very, very clear to us that of all of the places that we could choose from, there didn't seem to be any place that was better than this. And one of the reasons why it came together so quickly is because of how convinced we became, particularly after engaging with our partners, that this was the right choice.
Thanks, Steve. Operator, next question, please.
Dubai is a beautiful place
Thank
for a
you. And
Disney
our
park.
next
It's not
question
going to be a
today comes
huge
from
revenue
Robert
driver
Fishman
for them.
with
It just won't be.
Moffett-Nathanson.
It
Please
can't
go
be.
ahead.
Disney's not going to own it.
Thank you.
Remember.
And then just a follow-up on Abu Dhabi. Since you're not putting capital in, is there any ownership or is this simply a royalty?
That's
Hey!
in the press release.
I'll
Yeah.
start on the Abu Dhabi question, and I'll let you pick up your question on advertising. It is all their capital, and we will get a royalty. So there isn't ownership. We own our IP and license it to them is essentially the arrangement. We're responsible for design and development, and we will be involved significantly in oversight of their operations, basically to ensure that the Disney experience, meaning the Disney theme park experience, is up to the level that we offer in the other 6 locations that we operate. By the way, we're not concerned about that at all. They've already demonstrated a commitment to quality in that regard. But this is essentially a license arrangement, but with considerable involvement of us. So although they will operate it, we will have employees embedded in the organization with them to help them operate a Disney theme park, basically the quality level that everybody's used to.
Well, the Abu Dhabi thing specifically stems off the 15-day, the fact that in 15 days, Epic Universe opens and Disney itself has nothing. I mean, they've got the potential of an expansion, which is not really an expansion, and all of those things. And that begs off the question that they would be getting. Also, the idea that they selected a site and that they were looking into different areas and whatever they did in Singapore. Oh, it's a demand in Singapore. It's the first time they've mentioned it ever on an earnings call. This is something where those bottomless pits of money out there in Abu Dhabi said, we want to do this theme park. And they said, yes, here's the price.
And that's remember they did the thing in Saudi Arabia a year or two ago. They put up that temporary thing with 10 of their different characters or whatnot and things. So they were over there, but yeah, this was the quick and easy answer to Epic, I think, in their mind, because there were comments in the last few calls about when is Disney going to open a 5th gate in Orlando, right? And they're talking about expanding more cruise ships. And now we've got this other international park in the same quarter that they reported that international parks were down. What did they say? 24%, I think, was the figure I saw this morning.
After touting the investment in those international parks.
Right. Remember, because that's where most of the $60 billion was going to wind up.
So the effort here is, despite what we have seen across a plethora of indicators that Disney is in trouble, what they're trying to do is they're trying to shore up the finances for this report and then give the people something to hang on to, give the investors something to hang on to hopefully get that baseline for the stock price up above the 100 mark and quit hovering around 80 and 90. And so I think they might be successful because Lilo and Stitch is going to come out, and that's going to be an indicator that culturally they still have relevancy. the question I have, and you know, I'm very curious about this. I don't know what you guys will say about it, but I wonder how long can Disney go with Marvel and Star Wars in very obvious decline before that begins to impact those other parts of the business? Like, if you don't have drivers within you, you know, within your company, these IPs part of the flywheel, if you don't have drivers to really support, like Abu Dhabi, what IP do they put in there right now? Like, you can't put a Star Wars land in because nobody cares about Star Wars. Yeah, you go. So that's the thing,
It's
right?
the all Aladdin theme park.
Although I will say we may finally get a Tatooine because it'll be so cheap to build over there in Abu Dhabi.
Well,
Just clear the land and there you go, kids. Get out there and play in it.
Well, that's kind of the thing, right? Basically, Abu Dhabi and the person managing the park, the person who's going to invest in the park. I mean, Disney is just there to license their IP. It's going to look a lot like, I think somebody said it earlier, like OLC. It's going to look a lot like Tokyo, where effectively Dubai is going to pick and choose what it's going to wind up going in there. If
this will have more government oversight too, because in Japan, you know, Japan's a rather free society, so it's mostly based on the corporate decisions over there from the Oriental Land Company. Abu Dhabi will have a lot to say. The government will have a lot to say about what goes into this theme park.
Dank will be no Gay Pride Month over there.
I don't think Tiana or Strange World will be getting attractions in Abu Dhabi.
No.
So I will point out that's a theme park complex. They're going to be, I mean, literally right next to Ferrari World, and there's a WB theme park out there. This is going to be this is the kind of facility that Disney would never agree to in the United States, being in literally the same resort as their competitive brands. So this is a very unusual situation for Disney right now.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.